I always use a language pattern so that people understand very quickly what I'm talking about, and if they understand what I'm talking about, they'll buy into and take acceptance around what I say. If I start, has anybody ever had an IT come to your office and the IT guy comes in and your PC doesn't work and you go, my computer's wrong, what's wrong with it? He goes, the PHP is not talking to the ASD, which is in charge with the VD, with the HIV, BB, CD, RGBD, RB. And you're going, can you fix it? He goes, well, as long as I take out the doodle and I do BB, and you're thinking, what the heck are you talking about? And you go, you know what? Let me think about it and get back to you. Or you really want the guys to say, yes, I can fix it. But IT guys, they always talk about, by the way, have I got any IT people in this room? Oh, I love you. You're fantastic. Oh, you're just a great... Oh, I love IT people. So here's the deal. If I talk in a language pattern which people understand and I strip out all the jargon, people just want to know what the solution is to the problem. Does that make sense? Yeah. People will only buy into the solution if they recognise the problem. If we talk in a jargon pattern where people don't understand the jargon, they won't tick the box to let you give them the solution because they don't understand what you're talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about strategies. This whole week has got nothing to do with strategies. Anybody can teach you strategies anywhere in the world. It's getting somebody else to want to implement those strategies and how to get someone else to buy acceptance into them and have them move across the table. Because we can all talk about strategies, but how often do we learn strategies, you go to use it in the marketplace and you get a wall of resistance because the marketplace doesn't want to buy into your strategy. Does that make sense? Because they don't recognise the jargon and they don't understand the process. Therefore, it's not that important when we talk about the strategy. You guys need to understand the strategy. The marketplace has to understand what it is and how it will benefit them. It's the only thing they're interested in. What it is and how it will benefit them. Did everybody hear that? Yeah. Not that I want to make that person feel really embarrassed and uncomfortable, but let me explain to you a pattern break. A pattern break, and this is why people hate mobile phones going off when they speak. There's a time when you use a pattern break, and I'm going to explain it to you this weekend. It's incredibly powerful in a negotiation if you understand what a pattern break does. What happens it does to a speaker is when I'm actually speaking to you guys, here I am here. Do you think in my mind I already have set up sentences and structures in advance of my brain that already know where I'm going? Does that make sense? Okay, this is where you can use a pattern break to an incredible, powerful degree. What happens is, I'm already miles ahead with what I'm saying. I've already got this designed. This. Mobile phone goes off. It scrambles everything. It absolutely wipes out every futuristic thought you got. Now, if you get the science of that, it's so frustrating because when a mobile phone goes up, the person goes, now where was I? Because you've totally lost it. You with me? It actually scrambles all forward thinking. Where it's really powerful is if when you go home and you're having a fight with your spouse or your business partner, and your wife is telling you how you're a dirty rotter, you never do the washing, you never help with the kids, blah, blah, blah. You go, hey, look at that, the baby's just fallen off the porch. And they go, what? Where? Okay, sorry, where were you? They go, oh, and you've scrambled, they lost it. They go, where was I? I said, you were just about to wash my car. Was I? Oh, okay. Right. It's really powerful. So if I've got a seller who keeps telling me all the reasons why he won't let me do what I want to do, I'll just drop in a pattern break and it will scramble his thought pattern and he can no longer stop keeping knowing. He's forgotten where he's at. Does that make sense? And then I'll just drop in, ask another question, take control of the conversation, move it in a different direction. If you understand pattern breaks, it's very, very important. It just makes it pretty hard when you have a talk. The only reason I wanted to explain to you about pattern breaks right now is because I totally forgot what I was going to say after that mobile phone went off and I needed 3 minutes. Does that make sense? Good. Now that we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, hands up if you've seen that man before. Okay, let's look at this now. What can you tell me about this man? Dumb? What else? Pretends to be dumb. What else? Dishevelled. Asks questions. Shrewd. Does a lot of analogies. Unthreatening. Disarming. Thank you very much. You've hit the hot button. What the band did, and the reason why it ran for 10 years, is people couldn't figure out why the baddies always put themselves in the soup and all he ever did was ask questions, and the investigation he didn't have to do because people always put themselves in the suit. And the reason why, if you ever watch these episodes, they always go, Columbo, you always come across like a stupid old fool, blah, 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 blah. But I actually think you knew what was happening when I was stabbing those 7 people in the kitchen. Here was the psychology behind it. Disarming, non-threatening. Therefore, if we have a disarming, non-threatening nature, is it fair enough to say that when 2 people meet, people will be more comfortable, let's say social surroundings. I know how much everybody earns in this room. All I've got to do is interview your 5 closest friends. If I know what your 5 closest friends earn, then that will tell me exactly what you earn. Everybody will be disarmed by living in a social medium which is representative of where they see themselves. People will not, on a day-to-day basis, put themselves in an environment in wherefore they feel intimidated. If people feel intimidated, they will shut down, they won't feel comfortable, they will move to an environment where they're less intimidated. When people feel less intimidated, they feel more free to express themselves and be the people that they are. Could we agree that sometimes within your friends, you might go to a dinner party and you let loose, have a few drinks, tell funny jokes that aren't that funny and your friends accept it. If someone brings a foreign person to the dinner party that no one knows, everybody shuts down and they change. The whole demeanour changes because it's like, who's this person? It's the same philosophy here. The man recognises that the less threatening he is, the more other people will want to educate you and help you out. So, if you go to a party, I want you to think about this. You go to a party full of real estate agents and they ask you if you've ever bought a house. And you said, no, well, I don't know much about it, but I'm thinking about buying one. Do you think the real estate agents will give you the benefit of their 30 years knowledge and spend the whole night educating you about real estate? That's what they'll do. But what if you go to the same party and the real estate agents say, have you ever bought a house before? And you go, probably wouldn't be any more than 7,000. Do you think that'll change the relationship between you now and the other real estate agents? Do you think the real estate agents are now going to start telling you how to buy real estate, or do you think they'll shut down and probably find an excuse to go to the bathroom and get another drink? What happens is, we spend a lot of time in our life getting polished, getting degrees, getting qualified, getting fancy suits, getting all these sort of things behind our name, like, you know, John Brown, HD, BHP, DVD, 1, 2, 3, and all this sort of stuff. And all we actually do is we intimidate people who now no longer feel comfortable to move forward. So, we know that if the other person feels comfortable with us because they don't think we're too smart, people will move forward. Because when people feel they can move forward with you, they're okay as long as they feel like they're more educated than you. People think they're more educated than you, they will move forward and continually let you know how educated they are. I go back to dating. Quite often, a lot of the stuff I talk about is the analogy between boy and girl, mainly because most of us are either a boy or a girl. Now I watch, and I go to the bar, and where a guy gets it wrong. He'll stand at the bar, meet some girl and say, hey, let me tell you about computer chips. The XKY, the Juto, she'll sit there and go, really? Wow, big boy. And all night he'll talk about the inside powers of the computer chip and the X, Y, and H and the super chip and the super chip. And you watch the poor girl that wants to commit harikari, but she can't because she wants to meet a guy and she's forced to stay there all night because that's what her mother's told her to do. So here's the deal. He talks all night about how self-important he is. At the end of the day, he doesn't quite get it. But here's the thing. If we change the philosophy, and we're not too smart, we don't say we're dumb, but we're not too smart, other people will disarm, and when other people disarm, they'll move forward. The smarter I am, the more people will want to engage lawyers, accountants, and financial planners. The less smart I am, the more or less intimidated people will be, the more they will move forward in a negotiation, the more people will do business with me because I am less threatening. Now, I want to give you 2 analogies around this. If I put a sign in a front yard, have you guys ever seen a sign that says garage sale or something like that? You ever seen that? Is it fair enough to say they're normally on a little cardboard on a bit of a stick? Would that be right? Let me ask you something. Why do people always stop, ladies and gentlemen, and go to the garage sale where they see the cardboard box and the stick? Why do people do that? What are they looking for? A bargain. Because cardboard box on the stick says bargain. It reeks and smells of bargain, and people create traffic jams right around the M25 because there's a cardboard box and a stick, and I'm going to save £35 on an old VCR. But what if I had a sign that was $26,000 to create that said, garage sale this way, with all sorts of colours and lights going on? Would people still move forward the same way, or would people think, that looks too professional, too polished, I'm probably going to pay retail, therefore if I'm paying retail, I don't want to know about it. If you see an ad in the paper that says, British plumbing, it's a 3-page ad, and it's got, British plumbing, we plumb everywhere. And it's multicoloured ads right across the pages of the newspaper. Or you see this other little ad that says, Al, I fix taps. Which plumbing company do you think will cost you the less money? Al. Therefore, if you know Al, and everybody will call Al, are you calling Al because you expect to pay more money or less money? Less. So therefore, why don't we disguise ourselves as Al? Why don't we, where everybody's trying to be so professional and we know no one will go there because everybody's too intimidating, everybody's too professional, that why don't we take the different position of we're not too smart. In actual fact, we just look like the guy next door. In actual fact, these little flip-flops, I had to rent them. Here's the thing, suddenly people come in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called taking advantage of the greed gland. People always love to come in for the bargain. All I can do is create it.